This is Deductor continuing the Star Traders playthrough as the bounty hunter. In the previous video, we finally leveled the engineer up to rank 5. And this allowed us to unlock a talent called Assisted Installation, which significantly reduces the cost of upgrades. There was a weapons locker that we bought on our ship that would have cost something like 170k, but it only cost 140k thanks to that talent. So I want to take advantage of every cooldown I get to continue to upgrade my ship components. With that weapons locker, we are now ready and fully capable of crew combat, not against the Xenos, but against any human. We will easily win at this stage. So I want to start getting into some battles. But the best source of getting battles is actually through ship combat. There are ways to get battles by exploring wild planets and fighting pirates and so forth. We don't really have too many talents to assist with exploration though, and our overall exploration skill is terrible. So I don't really want to do that. I want to get into battles against enemy ships. But to do that, we have to upgrade at least a couple more components. I want another defense matrix. I want to upgrade my torpedoes to be better torpedoes. I want to get a med bay. There's a lot of stuff we need right now. We also have a hard time getting more missions. All the missions we can pick up right now pretty much will either we can't really do, or they're too annoying to do, or they require us to piss off Clan Java, which we cannot afford to piss them off. They sell the best defense component in the game, and I'm already hated by them, so we got to repair that reputation. As soon as this trade ban is over, I'm going to go and do that. So for now, we just sort of picked up a filler mission. It might piss the House Thulin off against us, but not a big deal. Mostly I'm just doing this mission so that I have something to do in between the cooldown of Assisted Installation. So with all that being said, let's proceed. This is kind of far away. I really didn't want to do this mission. We have to go there. Then we have to go here to the Hyperion Abyss Gate. And then we have to head all the way back. Like, it's really, really a terrible mission to do. But the good news is it will waste time. So that is something. Alright, we're passing these Intimidate rolls without our saving talent now. I fired the other gun deck boss. Oh, a pirate. What kind of ship do they have? A Solar Predator. That's actually kind of dangerous. If our ship were more upgraded, I would fight them for sure. But despite the fact that the game says I outclass them in every way, if I fight them, I probably win, but I will take damage on my ship, and I do not want to do that. Like, we are just a couple upgrades away from being able to handle this fight in a much more confident fashion. So we're gonna surrender to this pirate for now, but the age of surrendering to pirates is gonna be at an end soon enough, and then the pirates learn to fear us. Just be patient. Few more upgrades. Alright, we are passing a lot of these skill checks now without our saving talents. I think we're just getting lucky, honestly. Alright. Can we do to patrol? Ooh, this is good. Learn rumor, gain rep, very low risk. Yeah, sure. Let's remove this bounty hunter ship. See, any of these positive results would be great. And of course, we draw the small % chance of gaining a bad result. But we did have a saving talent that allowed us to pass it so we don't take any sort of damage. And we even gain a little bit of experience from it. Most of this is bad. I don't want to do any of this. Blockade? No, I'm not doing that. I'm not spying. All of this is terrible. A little disappointing, but what can you do? Let's start on the first step here. We unfortunately don't have that talent to on our negotiator. I specifically chose not to take that talent because I didn't think I'd be doing too many of these missions. Where is our diplomat? Oh, there you are. I picked Adept Mediation and Upstage Success. I think these will proc so much more. We're not doing too many of these missions, so it's not a big deal. Alright, good thing our red badge talent reduced our reputation loss. Even a little bit helps. But we still lost 5 rep with this faction. Not great. Not what I was looking for. Oh, we should upgrade, right? Crew, talent. Yep, ship upgrade discount. Next, I want to replace this armor bulkhead. Well, no, we should upgrade a torpedo, I think. Let's see, what are our options at this planet? Do you not sell torpedoes? Type match. Wow, I didn't know these people didn't sell torpedoes. Why do you not sell torpedoes? Oh, your military is so low. That's probably what it is. Alright, well, we'll upgrade something else. No sensing lane to cool down to waste. I do definitely want more defenses. I feel like with defense matrices, I should either get the rank 1 or the rank 4, which you can't even buy here. You have to go to a Clan Javat planet. There are 2 reasons for this. I mean, these defense pattern 2 and 3 are just objectively better than 1. But the difference gets a little smaller. 2% extra defense is nice, and 1 more electronic is good, but you know, it's a smaller upgrade, and here's the most critical part. The amount of time it takes to do the upgrade. 5 weeks versus 3 days. Ugh, I don't want to waste 5 weeks doing this upgrade. This one's 7 weeks, even longer, and there's a better one than this. Like, the going from 2 to 3 is too small of a benefit. 1% shield is irrelevant, in my opinion. +1 pilot is nice, but it's such a small difference, and +1 ship ops, that doesn't even matter in ship combat. Like, going from a 2 to 3, almost not worth it. 1 to a 2, at least, is a little better. The 2% extra dice rolls, 2% extra defense usually translate to a point or 2, and that's decent. But going from 0 to 2 electronics, 2 piloting, and 3 defense, that's a huge jump. Now, we will lose some armor, but armor only helps us if we get hit. The whole point of this ship and these defense pattern matrices is so I don't get hit in the first place. We lose a little bit of shielding. Again, that only matters if we get hit, and I don't plan on getting hit. At least not very much. Radiation resist, it has to do with ship weapon damage type. In summary, 4 radiation resist is basically a non-factor, and it also only matters if we get hit. So this armored bulkhead only matters if we get hit, and I don't want to get hit. Electronics, piloting, ship ops, this is going to help our defenses so much more. So this is a no-brainer upgrade. And we have plenty of dice pool available to take full advantage of that upgrade. That was a very solid and cheap upgrade for us. Alright, we can pay our crew, get a whole bunch more level ups. What else we got? Gotta get that quartermaster up. Alright, what are our options now? I think rank 5 quartermaster doesn't really have anything too good. Rallying cry is actually very strong. A reliable hand is always nice. When accepting a mission, increased payment. And the cooldown is very short. But by far, the most critical talent at this point for ship combat is this. Steady Hands is a command rank 1 talent that is one of the very best ship combat buffs in the entire game. It gives you +20 defense, which is super significant. And it has the effect of purging your crew of crippling effects, which can be super relevant. And it restores morale to your crew. Like, this is just an amazing talent. No-brainer pick, super useful for ship combat. Cannot hurt to have this. This is why commanders are one of the best classes. If you can pick up more commanders in your playthrough, you want to stack these to do even better in ship combat. They contribute to the command pool, which, as the help text tells you, in ship combat, command is used as standardized for defense. So this is, your ship can only be upgraded so much, but command can potentially be stacked much higher than electronics or piloting. So that was a great pickup. We have an electronics tech. I was actually going to save your upgrade. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with you, so I'll leave you alone. My mechanic leveled up. There's a lot of great options here as well. You can build a mechanic who's an officer to board. This drone wrench is probably the single best debuff you can apply on the enemy ship, but this character is not going to be able to board. So I don't really care about that. You can still trigger this if you board the enemy ship at rank 1, even if this character is not a boarding crew member. But I feel like our strategy with this ship is we're going to pummel them with torpedoes from range. And once the enemy ship is crippled, then we'll go closing and mop the rest of the battle up by boarding. This would be much more useful in a super aggressive boarding strategy where we try to get to rank 1 as fast as possible. But for now, it's not really needed. I want something else. Engine precision is extremely strong. Reactor points allow you to fire more weapons or do range change, extra defense, but it does hurt your ship a little bit, which is not great. The other thing is this only lasts for 2 turns, whereas a lot of the better buffs last for 3 turns. So, 2 turns versus 3 turns, obviously a 3-turn buff is just better. Reducing repair costs is pretty much irrelevant. This one's not bad. Salvage the wreck of a destroyed ship to get a little more money, but we're probably boarding a lot of ships and not destroying them so much. Engine reboot is also not bad, but this is too specific. It's only for the engine. System flush. This is probably what we do want. This one purges ship of any crippling ship effects, and it provides a small buff. Mostly I'm getting it with this second part, purges ship of any crippling ship effects. And I'm pretty sure on my officer, my commander, that steady hands talent purges the ship's crew of crippling effects. All of this will sound very mysterious and like nonsensical right now until we actually get into a ship combat. But the bottom line is, it's good to have talents to purge both the ship's crew of crippling effects and the ship itself of crippling effects. So they're complementary in a way. It's good to have lots of extra tools available. Nothing else really jumps out at me as being all that useful. So this one's got to be the right pick here. All right, we got 2 navigator level ups. It's good to have a second fast getaway. These stack just in case we come across a fight that we need to run from. What else do we want? I think 1 storm navigator is enough for now. We don't need more than that. One of these ability to protect against radiation storms. Don't need more of that. Perfected approach. It's good to have a second one. Efficient route isn't bad. It makes hyperwarp jumps cost less fuel, a significant amount, 10 less fuel. I don't really need perfected approach. I mean, this is better for ship combat, but I don't think I need more than 1 of these right now. Don't need more than 2 of these. And of all the other choices, I think having 1 efficient route is nice. And again, I'm not going to level up my scavenger because I don't even know what I'm going to do with you. I think you'll be useful once I actually have to explore plans to hunt down some criminal or something like that. Yeah, none of this was good. I didn't want to do any of that. Well, we're very close to this Mott planet. Let's see, maybe we can do a little patrolling there. Trade blockade over Tomb World. Well, I don't know where that is. I probably don't really care at this point. All of this is terrible. All of this is pretty terrible. Strike a blow in a conflict will make this faction like me, make whatever the opposing faction is hate me. I mean, those are not great. I don't really want to do that. I need to refuel at a planet before I do the hyperwarp jump. I mean, might as well go back to our main planet here. Refuel. Right, this is 35 AUs. We'll have no fuel left. Maybe the prince has some better missions for me now? Like, I have to go there to refuel anyway, so this is not really optional. Another pirate. And it's our faction's pirate. Again, we're not quite ready to fight them. Just acknowledge. Also, I kind of don't want to fight my own faction for role-playing purposes, even though from a power gaming perspective, it's actually, like, I think mostly correct to fight your own faction, because you usually get so much reputation with them, it doesn't matter if you lose tons of rep. But from a role-playing perspective, it feels wrong. I think you should be punished a lot more for fighting your own faction. Alright. Alright, you have no good contacts for me. Well, you could give me a new mission. I mean, sure. What else do we roll? Blockade until we score 2 blows against... Or alternatively, our blockade could target Chesserate. So he wants me to be a pirate. And he'll pay us 42k to do this. Although it'll piss this this faction off quite a bit. I mean, it's not bad money. Let's refuel first. Upgrade to nope, our talent's not available, right? Yeah, it's not available yet. The problem with this mission is I'm not quite ready to do it. I also don't have any blockading talents. But it is in the Hyperion Abyss. Or it could be in the 5th pass. I don't see any reason to do this right now. Mostly because I don't have any blockading talents. I can, like, re-rolling, I can do this, blockading a system, re-roll risk card, but that's not really worth it. Yeah, I'm not super excited by any of these missions right now. A lot of these require me to blockade planets or so forth. I'm not opposed to doing these from a bounty hunting perspective, but I'm also not very excited by them. Alright, let's go to the next sector. At least the good thing about this very fast ship is we can travel through the various planets very easily, very quickly. Alright, saved a little bit of fuel. Kind of want to patrol on these. Oh, right, no, we can't patrol on the Clan Javat planets yet. Can't risk them. What is this rumor? Trade blockade. Interesting. Smugglers are hoping to strike it big. That's nice. Military vessels. Local authorities rewards blockade runners with reputation bonus for trading. Huh. It's an interesting opportunity. We could buy some stuff and sell it. Maybe that'll increase our rep with this faction. I'm not so opposed to trying to run that blockade a little bit, but I can't actually patrol too much. We'll see. It's an interesting opportunity. Let's go to this planet first. Ah, independent spy. I would not be opposed to fighting. They have a really crappy ship, but I just need to upgrade the torpedoes once and I would fight them. I think we win this fight, but again, we'll take some damage. Whereas they're preparing to attack, huh? Independents are just fantastic enemies to fight. And it does say we outclassed them, and we do have a whole bunch of defensive talents. We did upgrade they're only a level 5. I'm gonna pause the video here. I want to look up this ship on the wiki to see what it has before I decide what to do here. Alright, I looked up this ship, and it turns out that the ship is, the Light Bow Raptor is not a very strong ship. They also have 2 torpedoes and a missile, but they don't seem to have a whole bunch of defenses, and I didn't upgrade my weapons. However, I still think I have a reasonable chance to hit them. According to the ship comparison, we are just better than them. Also, we have a whole bunch of defensive buffs. At the very least, I don't think they can hit us after the first round or 2. So, and plus we have 2 talents to allow us to escape if things go poorly. I'm reasonably confident we'll win without taking too much damage here. And they chose to attack us. Like, they want to fight us. You know what? I'm not going to back down from this. Let's go ahead and do this. Let me just pause the video a little bit here as I double check something else. Alright, yep, I just double checked. Their defenses are very, very poor. They basically don't have any good dodging abilities. And they have a small ship. This with 1,200 hull points, that's a very small ship. So let's go ahead and fight them. Let's see, you want to fight us? Well, not going to back down from these guys. So, ship combat. If you've never done ship combat in this game before and this is your first time seeing it, it is going to confuse you greatly. How does it work? What are all these weapons and talents and, well, okay, ignore the craft thing. We're not going to get crafts if ever, probably. But for now, our ship, the Sardine, is always on the left. And the enemy ship here is always on the right. Ah, this is what I was a little afraid of. When you go into the battle itself, the enemy ship can be upgraded based on the stock model, and this particular one is definitely upgraded. We can see they have this targeting matrix too, giving them extra accuracy and damage. That is very scary. And now the readout says the enemy's attack accuracy outclasses our ship's defenses. They will probably be able to get 1 or 2 rounds of hits off on us, which I don't love. But we do have 5 possible uses of defensive buffs. And once we pop 1 or 2 of those off, they shouldn't be able to hit us anymore. As long as we're going to land hits on them and they can't hit us, we will eventually win this fight. But we might take some injuries, even deaths here. I really hope my officers don't die. That would be monumentally bad. If I upgraded even one of my weapons once, I would feel like 100% confident. But now, I think our weapons should hit. So, the battle always proceeds in turns. And you choose your actions. You can choose which weapons to fire. And each weapon will use some reactor points. Depending on the weapon, different ones use different reactor points. These torpedoes use 2, and the missiles use 3. Also, each weapon is effective at different ranges. We're right now at range 5. Torpedoes are the most effective at range 5, as the help text suggests. In fact, they can only attack from ranges 4 and 5. That's what these 2 stars represent. It's the best at 5, and it can attack from 4, but it's not great from 4. You lose accuracy. The missiles, on the other hand, you can attack from 4, 5, 4, or 3, and they're the best at 4, but, you know, we might as well fire them. There's no reason not to fire them from here. Even if we miss, we roll a dice to see whether we hit. And these will consume reactor points, so we can really only fire 3 weapons. We can't even use this Starshot lance because we're not close enough to the enemy ship. In addition to picking the weapons that I can fire, I can use 1 talent per turn. These are ship combat talents that we've picked earlier. The best talent by far early game is Evasive Maneuvers. This busts your ship with a significant amount of defense, plus it gives you a little extra shield and armor. One other critical thing to note is that, as the text suggests, this talent will immediately take effect. So I don't have. It's not like I fire my weapons, they fire their weapons, and then I buff myself. The buff applies immediately, and so the first turn the buff probably won't do much. They'll probably still hit us. but we can keep stacking these buffs. Once we get to 2 or 3 evasive maneuvers, they shouldn't be able to hit us at all. So there are other things you can do, like advance and change range. You can escape, but we'll talk about those other options as that happens. For now, our strategy is to stay at range, pummel the enemy ship with weapons we really need to hit, and as we hit, we'll see what happens. One other good thing to know is that up here in the upper left and the upper right corners, it describes some more stats about the ship, including hull points. That's your HP. If it goes to 0, you lose. And the engine rating, if it goes to 40%, I think. Yeah, if it's reduced below 40%, you just lose. That's a loss condition. Like, you can blow up the ship, you can make the engines go to less than 40%. You can, if you kill enough of their crew, I think you have to kill like 80% of their crew or something, they'll surrender. If you reduce the morale of their crew to below 25, they surrender. If you kill their captain, they surrender. And I think there are some other ways, like if you kill enough their pilots or ship ops, that they'll also surrender. There's a bunch of other conditions. But usually the way you win is you either blow up the ship, you reduce the engine to below 40%, or you kill their captain. Or you kill enough of their crew. Armor affects how much hull damage you take. And so if you have really high armor, they don't take very much hull damage. Shield is how much internal damage, like your crew and component damage, you take. And having high shields is also really helpful to mitigate getting hit. But if you're not hit in the first place, that's even better. Lastly, a very, very important stat here is called speed. And the faster you are, as the help text suggests, it's used at range 4 or 5 as strong dice for attacking, defending, and attempting to escape. Like, it's used for all the important stuff, both offense and defense. And furthermore, if my speed exceeds the enemy's speed, I can gain a % bonus. If they have a really slow ship and I have a really fast ship, I get a massive bonus. Unfortunately, their speed is also very, very high. So we're probably not getting very much % bonus from this. At most, like 5 or 10%. Something very, very low. Or maybe not even like a noticeable amount. If they had a slow ship, like a speed of 15, for instance, and we significantly outclassed them there, I would gain massive bonuses. Alright, so with all of that being said, let's proceed. Combat is turn-based, so I choose my actions. The enemy ship's going to choose their actions. We're going to enter and I'm going to see what happens. You can also do stuff like pull up ship status to see what's going on, your crew members' health and so forth, but no need to consult the officers. Combat log. This is going to be important next turn. So let's go ahead and end our turn. See what happens. Oh, this is very bad. Whew, they missed. They missed again? Beautiful. Okay, I'm not surprised one of their weapons hit. I'm really surprised 2 of their weapons actually hit. I mean, 2 of their weapons missed. I thought they would hit a lot more. So that just happened. It seems like not very much happened at all. We got hit once. We took a small amount of damage. They got hit twice. They're still at greater than, 90% hit points. But let's take a look at the combat log. Oh, they also use a talent, by the way, guided fire, to buff their accuracy. I was very scared of that. So, one change I wish the game would make is they should have a mode where the combat log is just always open on the right or something, because most of the how you know what happened in that round is based entirely on this log. So we both traded fire. You'll see that we applied our buff and they applied their buff. Then they fired their weapons at us. This dual link vector missile, they tried to hit us but missed, and then this other torpedo tried to hit us and missed as well. Then we fired our missiles and we actually hit them, and we fired our torpedo and we hit them, and then they fired their torpedoes and hit us. Now these numbers tell us how close we are to passing these attack rolls. You'll notice that 43 versus 43, that's their roll versus our defense, their attack versus our defense. And if they had rolled 1 higher, 44, they would have hit us. The good news is they didn't there. and we rolled our roll for the missiles was 30 versus 26. So that's pretty close. We could easily have failed this, but our torpedo roll is fantastic. 38 versus 20 and 37 versus 23, meaning our torpedoes are pretty much always guaranteed to hit. The airship has very bad defenses, so we're pretty much going to hit them every single round no matter what. And then we did some damage to them. One of their missiles actually suffered 45% damage, and their engine even took a little bit of damage. This one, the missile is taking damage, is pretty big. If a ship component is more than 60% damage, it becomes inoperable. Like if this missile gets hit again and is more than 60% damage, they can't even fire the missiles anymore at us. And the other important thing to note is as we landed the hits on them, we caused debuffs. We caused this void contortions debuff and electrical fire. And you can see these debuffs as you hover over the effects on the enemy ship. Electrical fire looks like it's causing component damage every turn and crew damage every turn for 3 turns. And then this void contortion is lowering their defenses and armor and escape, and this void resist has to do with a special type of damage called void damage. Every weapon has both base damage and some usually a secondary type of damage. I'll probably explain that in a future video, but for now, like when I upgrade the missiles, that's probably when I'm going to explain it. But for now, just know that void damage is really good. It does less damage against hull, extra damage against their crew and components. So my strategy is going to be like to cripple their ship and not blow it up. So I do want to do a lot of void damage to them. So that was a great first round. I was really surprised by that result. I thought they would hit all their weapons, honestly. But now that we've started doing damage to them, combat has a snowballing effect. The more you do, the less effective their ship becomes. This isn't a game like XCOM or Battle Brothers where an enemy at 5 HP can still crit and kill you. Once the enemy is at like 80% HP, it's probably over. Like once their ship is even a little damaged, the snowball effect will start to really get going where they can't hit you, you can always hit them, and the fight's basically over. So even if a fight goes like 15 rounds, it can be decided within like the first 2 or 3 rounds. So there's no reason for me not to keep piling on the defensive buffs because they're very close to hitting us. But if I pile on more defensive buffs, they shouldn't be able to hit us. I'm going to fire all my weapons again and do another one of these evasive maneuvers. And that'll be the next turn. Alright, one of their missiles miss. Our weapons are hitting. Alright, and they also landed a torpedo shot on us. That's not so surprising. They caused a debuff of their own, void contortions, which is lowering our defenses, which is not great. But now we've really started to pile on the debuffs. Look at this. They have 2 void contortions. Now they have an aftershocks, which is absolutely crippling them. Minus defense doesn't matter because we're hitting them all the time anyway, but minus shields, so our hits will do extra damage. Minus void resist, again, our hits will do extra damage, causing all sorts of morale and crew and component damages. They are really taking a beating there. Let's see in our log what happens. They hit our hyperdrive a little bit, and they hit our barracks earlier. Those are not very important components. Well, the hyperdrive kind of matters, but 19% is not very much. They also applied this debuff, Elusive Barrage, reducing our accuracy, but I don't care about that. We're hitting them so hard here. So, let's see. This torpedo, they're rolling very well now. 47. And then this one, we got very unlucky on this defense roll. So they're still hitting us pretty reliably. Steady Hands purges your ship's crew of crippling effects. But Void Contortions is a ship effect. I would need to use System Flush to get rid of that. But I think it's better just to pile on even more defenses. If I use System Flush, it just eliminates the minus 10 defense. Much better to have even more evasive maneuvers. These buffs last a number of turns, by the way. When the Evasive Maneuvers last 3 turns, when you hover over it, it'll tell you. So they can stack. Plus, we're starting to damage their ship pretty badly here. Oh, look at this. This is beautiful. Their Firestorm torpedo suffered 61% damage. They can't actually fire one of their torpedoes anymore. All they can do is fire one of their missiles, which is also close to being knocked out. And they can fire one more of their torpedoes. We're also damaging their engine. That's one of the win conditions. One thing the combat log doesn't tell you is that your crew will also take damage when weapons hit. We can tell by going to our crew and sorting by health. You can see this gunner took a small amount of damage. This electronics tech, our doctor, took a little bit of damage, but these are not really very critical right now because we're not getting hit very much. We landed a lot of hits on them, and we can't see it from this view, but I promise you their crew, they have a crew too, is starting to get very injured, and some of them are probably close to death, if not already dead, and some of their morale is going to be tanking. And a crew member whose morale drops below, I think, 25, doesn't contribute their dice rolls at all to the ship's overall pool. And if their pool falls below 100% here, instead of rolling strong dice, they only roll standard dice, and their ship is effectively crippled. So, like, combat has a very snowbally effect. We're snowballing very hard. And they, once we apply this, they shouldn't be able to hit us. This third defensive buff. And they're really taking a lot of damage, yeah. They can only fire one of their torpedoes. I bet their missiles got knocked out. Oh, their Phoenix Lance got knocked out. They use an ability to purge all of those debuffs, but we're just supplying more. So, let's see. What are they rolling on now? 41 versus 53. So, yeah. Once it gets to something like this, where the dice rolls are very different, their rolls are very poor, our rolls are getting stronger. At this point, I don't need more debuffs. I don't need more buffs. Like, they can't hit us anymore. They're only firing one weapon. Their ship is crippled. So we've only played 3 turns of combat, but I know I've won already. And it's just a matter of mopping them up. I see little reason not to keep firing our weapons, but I don't want to blow their ship up. I just want to fire 2 of my torpedoes, which does less damage, and slowly cripple their ship down to a point where they can't even threaten us. Then we're closing for the boarding. For now, we might as well use this system flush to purge the crippling effect, because why not? We don't have any talents that can heal or repair. We'll want to pick those up, but it's not necessary right now. In fact, we knocked out their Phoenix Lance as well. So at this point, I kind of want to start boarding them. We've knocked out their weapons, and they can't do anything to us. Oh, wait, no, their missiles are potentially still operable. But I bet the fire took them out. We'll fire one more round of weapons from this range, and then next turn we'll probably advance on them. Alright, did a little more damage. Phoenix Lance took more damage as well. One of their, I suppose there's a chance they could repair their equipment if they have more talents to do that. So, you know what? We're going to pummel them for a few more turns from this range. See what they do. I can do targeting lock on them, but I don't think they're going to run. The AI, these spies don't tend to run just yet. So, again, I don't need a buff. Let's just fire 2 more torpedoes. They're trying to run, or trying to buff their defenses. That would have been smart to do earlier. And we're actually not hitting them very... the dice rolls are much closer due to the defensive buff they applied. But they're not able to fire back at us, and I bet they're running low on talents. They might try to run next. So I'm going to start advancing on them while firing my weapons. You can choose to change the range to be closer. It takes a bunch of reactor points. As you can see, advancing takes 3, so you can't change range and fire your weapons, like all your weapons at least. But there's no reason for me not to advance at least 1 range. We'll use this perfected approach ability to move ourselves even closer, and to make it easier for us to move closer, and then we'll fire some more weapons. Alright. Let's see what happened. Did a little more damage, but didn't hit anything critical. Probably hurt some of their crew some more, though. Range change. We are rolling 48 versus 17, so their ship is pretty badly crippled in terms of defenses, like the ability to escape. That is really good. Perfected approach is an ability that gives us extra range change, making it easier for us to advance on them. You know, nah, I don't need to fire the missiles. Well, the missiles are more accurate from this range. I'll probably miss my torpedoes. So we'll fire one of the missiles and just keep advancing on them. Yeah, yes, use your guided fire talent. Oh! I was planning on boarding them, but I must have killed enough of their crew, or combat log. Yeah, or I knocked out enough of their components such that they can't pilot their ship anymore. That's one of the win conditions. So I basically crippled their ship from range. Great stuff. That was ship combat. I was kind of hoping to be able to do crew combat as well, but alas, no such luck. You don't want to just fight every single ship you come across. First of all, you need talents, and those talents have cooldowns. So I can't do any more fights until all my talents come back. Second of all, independents, if you're fighting other factions, they're going to hate you for like knocking out their ship. But independents don't belong to any faction. So, I mean, I could loot their cargo with absolutely no complete impunity. Plus, they attacked us. I don't care if it's considered piracy. I mean, if you attack us, their loot is so bad. So we looted like 2,000 credits worth of stuff, right? Some clothes and this uranium ore that's not even like really worth anything. We can't take the fuel from their ship to refuel. And we can also choose to conscript one of their crew members into our pool of men here. Into our crew, rather. When you conscript without a talent, they're going to come with really bad stats and 2 really bad negative traits. It's pretty much not worth conscripting them unless you have a talent that mitigates that. And that's why I'm leveling the Quartermaster. They have a talent at rank 8, allows them to conscript someone, and they don't have negative consequences for doing that. And that's actually a super strong strategy once we get into that stage of the game, because the enemy will tend to out-level your crew much faster in this on Impossible. So they might be running like level 20 characters, and you'll have level 10s. But if you use that ability, you can conscript your high-level crew into your ship and then take advantage of that, and you can, like, in a way, power level your crew from that. It's a very strong strategy, but I don't want any of these people. Like, none of these characters are exciting. Plus, a lot of them are heavily injured. As you can see, this is because of all the torpedoes we launched. We probably killed a significant number of their crew. This is all that's left. Most of them are close to death. Lastly, I can choose to destroy this ship. Our crew will lose morale, and we may suffer a reputation loss with this independent faction. I don't care about the morale. We have plenty of morale. You generally don't want to do this unless you're totally set on declaring war against a faction, because it will make you take massive reputation penalties, like -30 or more. And so they'll hate you for destroying your ship. They're independent, so they're not going to hate us. Plus, this ship attacked us. From a role-playing perspective here, I'm just saying, you attack us, you're going to get wrecked here. I'm going to blow them up. We lost some morale, but not a big deal. We did gain a lot of experience. We lost some rep from this faction, but I don't care about them. They're sort of a hidden faction. Well, not hidden. You encounter them later in the game. And once you destroy their ship, you do have the ability to salvage. And when you salvage, you can gain a little more money. It's not very much for this like bad ship, but depending on the ship you blow up, and especially if you have talents, this could be worth a lot of money. I just did this mostly to demonstrate, and because they're independents, we don't lose any sort of reputation from this salvage. We did lose a little bit with these revolutionaries, but I don't really care about that. And that's pretty much it for ship combat. Our rewards are a little underwhelming, but we did get a lot of experience, like 294, and then another 254, and we did, you know, get a small amount of loot. It's not nothing, and we got a couple thousand credits from that. So all in all, a good result. And our damage was very minor. The hyperdrive damage is probably the biggest problem. The other damage is pretty much irrelevant. And I think our crew took a small amount of damage as well, but nothing that can't be healed. So yeah, that's what you get for messing with us. They wanted to attack us. Like, those independents were asking for it. So yeah, so that's ship combat. That was a very easy fight. They were not ready for that fight, and they were flying a very bad ship. And we do have a whole bunch of talents ready to go. But fights can get much, much tougher if, like, there are many different tiers of enemies in this game. And that was, like, the lowest tier, or maybe, like, between the lowest tier and the second tier. So those enemies, not very tough. We could, you know, as long as we have our talents, we could handle them pretty effectively. But the higher tier fights could, like, that's what happened the first few times I tried to fight. It was the other way around, where their ship was hitting us all the time, and then our ship was not hitting theirs. And then I didn't know it at the time, but after like 2 or 3 rounds, I've already lost. And it takes like 5 or 6 more rounds to resolve until my ship got blown up. But I never realized that the fight can just be decided very early on. And it's in part just based on the quality of your ship and crew. Like, a lot of times they might stand no chance against you. That ship did not stand any chance against us, by the way. Like, their defenses were too poor. And we might not stand any chance against like elite enemies. And it's already been decided because their ship and crew is just much better than ours. But you can't tell that at a glance. You just sort of have to have some experience with what kind of enemies you can encounter. That's part of the challenge of the game. Alright, well, that was exciting. Thank you for watching. Until next time.